All right. Good day, everyone. Um, good day, everyone. Please,
Hello, ma. Good day, ma.
oh, thank you, Mr. Damilare. Thank you, Winifred, and thank you, Mr. Raphael Harrison, for honoring our invitation to be part of us this morning. So I'll go straight to the reason for being here, and we're going to kick off with the discussion. We look forward to other people joining us very soon. Raphael, good morning. How are you today? Nice to have you here.
Good morning, ma'am. It's good to be here.
Nice to have you.
I'm doing very well on this cold morning.
Sorry about that. All right, so let us go straight to the reason why we've been here. Today we want to talk about the ease of life through renewable energy in Nigeria. And we would like you to kickstart this with us by running us through what is renewable energy. What is renewable energy? Tell us what it's all about and how it is relate to Nigeria as a country. So please, over to you, Raphael. Thank you.
Yes. Good morning, everyone. Like she has said, my name is Raphael Harrison. And renewable energy, just going straight to the question at hand, renewable energy actually just refers to power derived from natural sources that are constantly replenished. So, and virtually indestructible. So renewable energy really is talking about how we can derive power from natural resources, so the sun, the wind, water, and all of this, in such a way that these resources are now converted into electricity power for our daily use. And the interesting thing about renewable energy generally is that renewable energy, the source of renewable energy, they are virtually inexhaustible and they're constantly replenished, right? So you can't exhaust sunlight, for example. You can't exhaust the wind, right? The world is made up of about 60–70% of water, do you see? So these are sources of renewable energy. And basically, that's the whole idea around renewable energy.
So I'm using another name on the system, another name on. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Because I said to the group that you joined now. I added you now.
Can you hear me?
Hear you. I can hear you. Thank you so very much. Thank you for that brief introduction to renewable energy in Nigeria. And I'll go straight to the next question, which is what are some of the key benefits? Okay, what are the key benefits of renewable energy in Nigeria, particularly to the rural areas where they don't have access to electricity, they don't have access to power? I'd like you to share with us the key benefits of renewable energy in areas where there's no power supply. So please, can you just share with us the benefits of that? Please, thank you.
So thank you very much for that question. Like I said earlier, that renewable energy is typically or technically energy or electricity or power that is gotten from natural sources, which means that for your case study now, rural areas, it means that because these things are natural resources, they have natural sources rather, they are accessible to everyone, right? The sun doesn't just shine in urban areas. It doesn't just shine in metropolitans. It shines across the world, right? So something like a solar inverter now or solar energy can be accessed even in rural areas. The wind doesn't just blow in certain parts of the world, and in other parts of the world, it does not blow. It means that hydropower, which is water, wind power or wind energy, solar is accessible to everybody all around the globe, do you see? And that also brings us to the part that one of the key benefits is, number one, the accessibility. Number two is that it is in surplus. And what that means is that, like I said earlier, it's inexhaustible. And because it's inexhaustible, it means that they do not have to think about the capital to release. For example, the typical generator system that we use right here in Nigeria, there can be fuel scarcity. For last year, 2 years ago, and now, the cost of fuel has increased exponentially, and people have not had a commensurate increase in their earnings. And that puts them in a precarious situation, because now, even if they had secured a generator before this time, now the access or the ability to purchase the energy source to keep running this thing has become out of reach. However, for renewable energy, these resources are constantly being replenished by nature itself, right? So the key benefit is accessibility. Another benefit here is perpetuity, right? Another benefit is perpetuity. It does not run out, right? And another benefit for people in rural areas is it is low maintenance. For most renewable energy sources and innovation, it has little or no maintenance, right? So you're putting in money at once, and maybe for the next 2-3 years, you do not really need to maintain the system if it is used according to prescription. However, you have a generator set, you have whatever other alternative, there is need for constant overhauling, constant repair, constant maintenance, which on its own means that you have the capital expenditure, the initial cost of procuring that, and you have an operating expenditure, which means the maintenance, the day-to-day maintenance. And when we bring this in context of rural areas, it puts us in a very somehow situation, because now with the rate of inflation, with the rate of all of these things, people can no longer access that, which is very important for them to maintain constant electricity. So for me, I think these are like the key benefits. There are other benefits, but the question was key benefits. So I think these are like the key benefits for renewable energy.
Thank you very much for that enlightenment, telling us about the benefits of renewable energy. We talk about accessibility. You talked about low maintenance, and of course, that the sun pays for your bill. Thank you so much, Mr. Raphael, for that explanation, in depth and very straightforward. So I'll go to the next question, which is basically very, very. I want to talk about the economic and social benefits. Okay, the economic and social benefits of renewable energy. My question is, how can renewable energy contribute to job creation and skill development in Nigeria? Do you get the question?
Yes, I did.
All right, over to you. Over to you.
That's a very technical, well-rounded question, I must confess. So you said how renewable energy can contribute to the job creation and skill development. I would say that it can do that in a lot of ways, in a whole lot of ways. So statistics tells us that right now we have 85 million. There's an access gap to electricity of approximately 85 million home users. Over 85 million citizens or residents of Nigeria do not have access to consistent power supply. Right now, that's a lot, right? That's a whole lot. And that means that there's not just an access gap, there is also a skill gap, because the rate, the number of trained solar technicians, solar retailers that we have currently cannot meet the gap, cannot bridge the gap. So how does this create jobs, or how does this help our skill development? Number one, we have seen that in the economic landscape in recent times, you would have heard that GDP, which is gross domestic profit, is not an accurate measure of the economic strength of a company anymore. Now, what is the Human Development Index, which is the HDI? And what is the Human Development Index? The Human Development Index really speaks to the amount of the ratio of the skilled to unskilled labor, right? So we might have adults in a certain demography, right? 9%, 70% adults, right? And you're like, oh, they have working class, but most of these adults, say out of the 70%, 50% of them are unskilled, right? That means it is just like 20% that are skilled, which would in turn affect the GDP, which would in turn affect the productivity of this economy that we're talking about. Now, take for example, in a country like Nigeria, where we already have this electricity gap, right? If companies, some of the things we try to do at XGT, if companies begin to have conversations about training solar technicians, right? Which means we're taking someone from unskilled to semi-skilled to now being a skilled labor. So he starts as an apprentice, he starts as a technician, he starts as an intern, whatever he starts as. He's trained for a certain capex, right, to install her solar. Now, regardless of what the economic or what the nation's grid is looking like, she has uninterrupted power supply, which means that her business can have more turnover, because now I have spent all of the money that I need for this solar all at once. I'm not paying money every time. So number one, she's having increased profit because now our overhead costs are reducing, right? You see, so the money she would use for servicing gen, the money she would use to buy fuel, all of that now becomes profit in her business. Do you see? That's number one. Reduced overhead costs. Another thing you begin to see with how renewable energy helps is you have control of your own power. So we talked about alternative, where we talked about gen, but even the distribution companies do not have reliable power supply. So imagine a bank that runs on IKEDC, IBEDC, right? Times when the banking, the national grid collapses, right? For say 2 days, 3 days, they have to run all through the work business hours. They have to run generators, but you also forget that they have databases, infrastructures to make sure that you can transfer even when banks are closed. This thing use powers to run. They use electricity rather, pardon my French. They use electricity to run, right? Now imagine that they are also on the grid. It means that everybody, your small business will be affected, because now you can't receive transaction, you can't make transaction because their whole database is down. Why? Unreliable power. So I'm saying, in essence, is not just overhead costs, it also helps the comfort of every single person in the business. I mean, we have a very hot weather right here. Even when it rains, after the rain, it feels like the heat comes back and all of that. Imagine you working 9 to 5 under such conditions.